Alright folks, right on. The project for today is to take this old rusty piece of steel and turn it into a baking stone. Some people call it a pizza steel. You can cook pizza on it, you can cook bread, you can cook all kinds of things on this. So this is a 1/2 inch thick piece of steel, and I'm cutting this down to size to fit into my home oven. So I'm cutting this down to 22.5 inches by 16 inches. And that's going to be the perfect size to fill up the oven. I can cook a lot of bread on that, and also a rather large size pizza. You know, you can cook up to a 16-inch round pizza on this stone in the oven. Now you notice that the piece of steel that I chose for this is rather rusty, and I chose that on purpose because it has a nice texture to the top, and I think that will work out really well for this pizza stone. I have some other pieces of steel that are nice and flat, but I think this will work out great. Now there were some holes in the top of this, so I drilled these out so I can weld in some little plugs. So I'm cutting some solid bar stock here in the bandsaw, and I will weld these in. They weren't quite flush, so I used some dimes and pennies to raise these up so I could weld these in the right position. After going over the whole surface with the wire wheel and the sander, I brought this inside and I washed it with soap and water, and I'm going to season this just like any piece of cast iron. I do have a video on seasoning cast iron on my Right On with John Crane channel. So I am taking Crisco shortening, and I will put a thin coat of this over the whole steel, and then I will slide this into the oven, and then I will bake this at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Now you can repeat this process 3 times. I only did it once. You know, you can do this every so often to the steel, and this just came out amazing. Here I am cooking a simple New York style pizza: flour, water, salt, yeast, and oil. Now I'm sliding this onto the pizza steel that I have preheated to 500 degrees. I preheated it for an hour ahead of time to bring it up to temperature. Now a good tip is to cook the pizza 3/4 of the way through, and then turn on the broiler to get some top heat. Now this steel will retain a lot of heat, and you'll get a nice crisp undercarriage. It just comes out amazing. And now I'm gonna hit it with a simple dash of oregano. Hit it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Then I'll get out the scissors. A little snip snip here, snip snip there. Some fresh basil. Give this a slice. This pizza steel is a great thing for me to use in my home oven until I have my big Baker's Pride pizza ovens set up in my shop. This is just great to use at home. It really retains the heat, that 1/2 inch thick piece of steel. Here's some white pie that I made. Here's another New York style pizza that I made. And you can bake all kinds of things. You can bake loaves of bread. Here is a nice country French style loaf of bread. I have 10% rye in this mix. Great tasting bread. Alright, well there you go. From a rusty old piece of steel out in the yard to a nice, fresh, crisp New York style pizza. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you all soon. Right on.